if I do this right... Oh, nope, hold on. Don't read that. I thought it copied the link.
I've never clicked on anything so fast.
Yeah, I accidentally pasted all of my DM's notes because I was just working on them. That would have been bad. But if we all join that, it should record our stuff locally, which will have better audio quality. Once upon a time, in a land not so far away, the story was just beginning. Hello, and welcome to Storybook Ending. This is the podcast about humans, the stories they make, and the words that make them. I'm Loxley. I use VVer or they, them pronouns, and I am your keeper of stories. With us today is Addie.
Hi, my name's Addie. I use she, her pronouns, and I play the character Margie Gloucester.
We also have Grim.
Hi, I'm Grim. I don't really know anything about pronouns, so don't do any of them. How about that? I don't exist. I play Orion Miura, a very rich person.
Alright, we also have Killian.
Hi, I'm Killian. I use they, he pronouns, and I play Tabs, the fox.
And we have Danny.
Hi, I'm Danny, and I use she, her pronouns, and I'm playing Viola Thomas, the librarian, who also uses she, her pronouns.
We see a beautiful forest. It's simple, but it's, elegant in the way that only nature can be. We see a fox following his sharp nose through the wood. He's hungry, as, animals tend to be, when he spots a crow on the limb of a tree overhead. Tell me, Tabitha, what do you do?
I'm gonna approach the bird and see what I can make of the situation. Get a grasp of what's going on over here.
Yeah, you see that the crow, this isn't the first crow you've ever seen, of course, it's a pretty average-looking bird, but what catches your attention is that the crow has a bit of cheese in her beak.
So I'm gonna call up to the crow. Hello, darling. How's your day been? I see that you have managed to find something worthy of hoarding, haven't you? The winter's coming up. I'm sure that you need the food, don't you? Mind telling me where you found that?
I think the crow is a bit more wary than that. She eyes you suspiciously, she kind of cocks her head to the side and watches you, but she keeps her beak tightly closed and doesn't return the greeting.
So Tabitha will start circling the tree, glancing around the situation before kind of like putting their front paws up on the tree trunk. My dear, I'm sorry to bother you, but you have lovely feathers. You must have the best routines for them. Do you mind sharing? Do you mind telling me how you get yourself to look so beautiful?
Sorry, the idea of Aesop being like, so here was what the crow's skincare routine was. It's 12 steps. You gotta start in the morning and in the evening. Yeah, that is a pretty good way to convince the bird. So why don't you roll me a check? It'll be average difficulty of 4. Do you have any idea what impulse you would like to use? I can see a couple of them working here.
Let's see. I feel like scheme might be a good one for this.
Yes, I definitely agree. That's the one I was thinking most would be effective here.
All right.
So how many points in scheme do you have?
I have 3.
So you will be rolling 3d6 and wanting to hit a 4 with at least one of them.
Yay.
Okay, a 1, a 6, and a 4. The bird, very flattered by your words, she forgets her suspicion as well as the breakfast in her beak. She likes being flattered. You know, she wants to feel beautiful, as we all do. And she opens her beak wide to utter, you know, her skincare routine, her feather care routine. And immediately the cheese falls straight out of her mouth, out of her beak, down into your open mouth. And she just looks aghast.
My dear, your wits are not nearly as powerful as your beauty. I'm afraid there's other times that you may keep your meals. Learn from this, my dear. Is what he'll call up to the crow.
Yeah, absolutely. So here's the thing, she is a talking animal as well. She says some naughty words. She says some very mean bird words. Bird is not the word. The word is fucking piss and shit and asshole. Which is me remembering in real time that I'm allowed to curse on this podcast. Yeah, so we will cut over to Orion. You are standing just outside a home. This is your home. Tell me a little bit about it.
It's a modest house up on a hill, just looking over half of the town because it was built rather late, so it wasn't really included in any of like the areas. So it has a gravel path breaking off from the main road, going I don't know, maybe a half mile up to the house, just pure gravel, nothing else. So it's a little bit of a walk up there when he decides to park on the side of the road. It's painted like light blue, metal roof. Looks nice from the outside. Inside is still dark because well, ain't no lights on in there. So,
I relate.
yeah. He just bought it. He's kind of proud of it because it's, of course, his first home he's ever bought. And he believes that he's actually done a good job at like picking something that is going to be good for him.
Yeah, about that. I think we cut to a almost identical shot a couple days after you arrive, when you have found out that the house is not so great. Tell me a little bit about that. What makes the house less than perfect?
He actually didn't go in on the first day, and on the second day when he went in, because it was a little dark on the first day, so he comes back to look around, and he opens the door, and immediately half the town can hear the most guttural yelling of "fuck" as he realizes that the entire house has been gutted of wood, sheetrock, and anything else needed for it to be a house.
So it's just kind of a shell, huh?
Yeah, pretty much. It's basically just one of those nice little Fabergé eggs. Looks nice on the outside, but inside it's totally empty.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think you realize this, and then your phone starts to ring.
He picks it up, uh kind of pressing his middle finger into his temple, halfway flicking off the house and halfway just punishing himself for being an idiot and trusting the sleazy real estate agent. He picks it up and he's like, "Yes, Wadsworth."
Hmm. Yes, I trust you've made it to the house, all right.
Wadsworth, I want you to find this real estate agent and I want you to tank his business, please. He has sold me a Fabergé egg of a house.
Fabergé, that's no good.
Yes, very nice on the outside, but totally empty. I'm pretty sure I see stuff from squatters that have been here for several years.
No, that won't do.
It's quite bad, but I believe I can make it work.
Are you sure it would not be best to just move on, sir?
I want to give it a chance, even though it's not looking good. I've only spent a day in this town, and I'm sure it's better than where I. It's better than where I came from, anyways.
Quite. Very wise of you, sir. Well, send me the details and I will get all that business taken care of. I suppose you should find a secondary place of lodging until the house is ready for your accommodations.
Yeah, I'll probably be looking around town for a hotel or something. Actually, I don't see many like obvious hotels. This place is pretty like I don't see no obvious like Motel 6 signs, so I might have to do a little bit of a walk around on foot to find something or maybe just pay someone to like do a bed and breakfast.
Yes, very well, sir. Well, do be careful. You never know what kind of foxy criminals could be lying in wait.
You are quite wise about these things, sir. Living in London for as long as you have, I'm sure plenty of people have tried to be criminals upon you, sir.
Tried and failed, sir. Very well. Well, I shan't keep you any longer.
Thank you. You have a nice day now.
And you as well, sir. Farewell.
Farewell. He one more time pokes his finger into his head and slams the door shut enough to shake the house, but not enough to like break anything. And he kind of like just sulks down the long driveway and just gets in his car, and that's it.
All right. So going in search of a place to stay until things are in order?
Yep.
I think we follow your car for a moment as you start driving back into town, and then the camera sort of zooms ahead of it down the streets, taking a left, then a right again, and then we finally end up on the Lazy Dog, the local bed and breakfast slash tavern slash inn slash bar. And Margie, why don't you tell me what this place looks like and what you're doing inside of it?
Basically, the Lazy Dog. The exterior is a combination of a cabin looking thing and a restaurant, I suppose. It's like a cabin, but also brick. It looks like two buildings smushed together, basically. And when you are walking on the sidewalk passing the Lazy Dog, there is a huge window that looks into the bed slash breakfast slash bar slash tavern, and you see this giant dog. It is a 15-year-old Labradoodle named Bear, and that is what the Lazy Dog is named after. And he is a real dog. He is so still that many new customers assume that it's a very lifelike sculpture of the dog. No, it's the actual dog who likes to laze around inside the restaurant. And there are these like gold, but like not gold, more of like a bronze accents of like a bronze doorknobs, maybe bronze like window frames and stuff like that that decorates the exterior of the Lazy Dog. And when you walk into the establishment, there is a wooden podium or like hostess stand where a host can either like greet you or like seat you to the restaurant or the bar, or you can say that you're there to check in for the night or two.
Right. So what is as we kind of come inside and we pass the Lazy Dog in question, what is Margie doing today?
Margie, assuming that it is Monday, she's probably like just taking off her postal service uniform. Like she has her like little jacket thing and she's just taking that off. And she like ducks into her office to put that away, and then she comes out of her office, like emerging out of her office with this like little black Lazy Dog apron on, and she walks behind the bar.
Sure, yeah. I think you've already got a customer who pretty much just followed you in immediately. You know him. You know most people in this town. This is Edward. He's a sad man, and has been here maybe a little bit more often than he would like lately. But you know, he says, "Oh, hey Margie, how'd the deliveries go today?"
Not too bad. The weather almost took me down, but as you know, I'm Margie. What's her last name? Gloucester. Margie Gloucester, and I prevailed. How are you, Edward?
Oh, you know, still sad.
Do you want to taste? You want to taste my new ale I've drummed up?
Oh, Margie, you always know what'll help.
I'm always happy to help. And Margie goes and pours him like a glass of her like homemade ale. Side note, Addie, the player, doesn't know how any of that works, so just bear with me.
No, sure.
Also bear with me.
It's a microbrew mead.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I love that.
Yeah, so she pours him just like a little like glass of that, slides it over to the counter, and she says, "Edward, if you're still gonna be sad, well, I appreciate your business, but I'm no trained psychologist. I think you might need some help. And I really mean that like nicely. I'm not trying to say that you're weird or anything. I think we're all a bit kooky in this town. But man, it could be hard to see like a pal being as sad as you are every day."
And he just kind of repeats, "You really know how to help." Well, after I finish this, and he raises the glass, he says, I'm heading actually over to the library. There's maybe someone there, but also I'm gonna get a book on how to recover, and you know how I like books.
I do know how you like books. Speaking of books, have you considered joining a book club? I'm not really hosting one here, but I'm sure if you take a look at the town's community board, you can find something there.
Oh, that seems a little social for me. I'm not sure if I'm ready to get back out there quite yet.
Alrighty, Edward. But you know I'll always be here.
Oh, except when you're out delivering or running the food truck.
Ha 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 ha. And that's kind of like it. She'll like hang around if Edward wants to like use her as a therapist of some sorts, but she kind of just leaves him alone to like nurse his drink.
Yeah, I think Edward just kind of stays around, maybe makes a little bit of small talk, but drinks the ale. He's not the most expressive person, so it's hard to tell whether your ale is, worth the drinking. But eventually he does finish it, and he gives you a thumbs up. And then he says, well, off to the library. Wish me luck.
Good luck, Edward. Hope you find what you're looking for.
Oh, me too. And then we follow him out the door. And similar to before, we sort of stay over his shoulder for a little while and then eventually zoom past him to the library. Viola, why don't you tell me a little bit about this local library?
The library is a bit on the small side. It's not quite the massive thing that you'd see in a major town, but it is big enough. It is 2 stories. In the basement, there is a lovely kids area. It's got sort of 2 sections, one for the younger kids that has all the picture books, and it's got some toys and things for them to interact with. And on the other side of that is more the big kids section where there are chapter books. None of the young adult stuff. That's all upstairs. And when you do go upstairs, there is a fairly large fiction area. About half the library upstairs is dedicated to fiction. The other half is all nonfiction with an emphasis on biographies and autobiographies, and several nice sets of encyclopedias.
Very nice, very nice. What is Viola herself doing today on this? I think we said it was a Monday.
Monday, she is cleaning up after the kids' day downstairs. Mondays is the Mommy and Me group, and it tends to meet later in the afternoons. And, she loves seeing the kids enjoying books, but it's a lot.
Oh, yeah.
And she's busy putting away the books and the toys and cleaning up that weird red spot on the carpet she's pretty sure was Kool-Aid. She's still not entirely sure how they got a drink down into the library, but, kids be kids.
Yeah, those kids will be kids. Yeah, I think you are cleaning up then when you hear the bell on the door upstairs ring as someone enters.
So she will head straight upstairs and put on her big smile and walk behind the large desk that runs the length of the room and look to see who came in.
You see, what's a good name? You see
Annabella?
Annabella. Yep, Annabella, who is one of the other postal volunteers who works the shift after Margie on Monday. And she's got a dolly with a couple of pretty sturdy-looking cardboard boxes. She says, well, hey there, Viola. I just got a shipment of, looks like you were expecting some old books.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, I'm so glad they came.
Yeah. Just sign here.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when things start to get a little bit weird. Because as you sign your name, the ink of your signature starts to wiggle.
Ooh.
There's not really a better word for it besides the word just starts to shift and sort of waver on the page.
Ooh. Do you mind if I just sit for a moment? Everything got a little bit wiggly. I've been cleaning downstairs. I might have inhaled too much bleach. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm seeing it too. That you're the book smart person. That ain't normal, is it?
No, not so far as I'm aware of.
Oh God, what? And the boxes with the books in them start to sort of shudder and shake.
Well, that's not normal either.
Yeah, the box on top, the flaps sort of burst open and the books begin to fly out and soar around the room, their pages flapping wildly as if in a cyclone of wind. We cut quickly over no more, long transitions soaring through the streets of Fox Jumps, but we cut directly over to the inn where there is a menu and the words rise off the menu, saying homemade ale and, the different types of beer and stuff. And the words themselves rise off the menu and start to dance around the room. In the forest with Tabitha, You're in the forest when suddenly the word tree appears in front of you, replacing where the tree was. You see the word crow above you, still screaming obscenities, which themselves are becoming words existing in the air around you. Orion, as you're in the street driving towards it, you suddenly are sitting on the word car. All of this happens at once, and then suddenly everything goes white for all four of you. Words begin to appear around you again in perfect black ink, different fonts, different sizes. But then they begin to fly into you, and you feel yourself imbued with this strange verbal power. A voice speaks to you and says, "Once upon a time, in a land not so far away, the story was just beginning. The story of you. I trust you, speakers. Now go out and tell your story." Everything shakes, and then you find yourselves in the library. Viola, you're standing right where you were before, but Orion, Margie, and strangely, Tabitha, you find yourself standing on two legs as a human, oddly, and you find yourselves in this library, which Viola described. It's a rather small space, so it's a little bit crowded. The postal worker, Annabella, has disappeared. She's nowhere to be seen. And you just sort of find yourselves in this space. If you look at each other, you see this sort of black ink still fading into your skin as the words disappear into you. And you are all now speakers. You have the power over the universal language, over words, and the power that they represent. Tell me, how do you feel?
Confused.
Yeah, Margie immediately smacks herself in the face, like both hands, like Kevin Home Alone type of smack. She's like, "Did that just happen?"
Margie, where did you come from? Why are you here?
I was at the Lazy Dog. How did I get here? Did you see me walk in? I don't remember walking in.
No. No, you were just here.
Oh. And she just sits on the carpeted floor.
Huh.
I feel dizzy.
Yeah. Everything's a little bit strange. I'm sorry. Just a minute, Margie. Hi. I'm Viola, and you are? And she looks over at Orion and Tabitha.
Tabitha is definitely just examining their getup, their self, not fully paying attention. So whenever you acknowledge them, they kind of pause and clear their throat before being like, "Pardon me, where am I?"
You're in the library, the Fox Jumps Library.
The Fox Jumps Library?
Yes, I'm Viola. I'm the librarian here.
I can't say this place is familiar, my dear.
Oh, well. Well, that makes sense because I don't believe I've seen you before. Sorry, I didn't catch your name.
Tabitha. Tabs for short.
Tabs. Lovely to meet you.
Lovely to meet you as well. Now, what just occurred?
I am not entirely sure. I signed for a delivery. Annabella is gone. She was just right here. I signed for a delivery, and then my signature got all wobbly, and then the box opened and books started flying around, and then everything went white, and now you're all here. and I just don't understand it.
The crow I was speaking to turned into words. And so did the tree I was standing beside. I haven't the slightest either.
That sounds strange. Oh, and there was a voice in my head. He called me a speaker?
Oh, you heard that too?
Oh,
I heard the same.
okay. All right. I don't know what to do with this, but it's good to know that we all heard it. Feel a little less crazy? Maybe this is a mass hallucination of some sort. Margie, were you experimenting in the kitchens again? Did you put something strange in the cookies?
Well, not the cookies. I can't imagine my owl had anything to do with it. Edward tried it, and he appeared okay. Oh, Edward said that he was going to this library. Have you seen him?
I have not. And you really need to stop trying to set me up with him. I'm just not interested.
Well, honey, you could tell him yourself.
I've tried. You know what? That is not what's important right now. That is not important at all at the moment. I don't know what. You know what? Let's look at these books. And she'll come out from behind the counter and try to find the books that had taken off from the box.
But books? But books? What books? I don't know what you're talking about. There's a couple of empty boxes.
Huh. These boxes had books in them. And then the books started flying. Which sounds very wrong when I say it out loud. But I don't see the books anywhere. I don't suppose you all see any books that look out of place. Everything looks to be on the shelves.
Well, I guess at the risk of sounding even more kookier than I already do, when I was at the inn, it wasn't that my books started flying around. Rather, my menus were. And Margie kind of blinks rapidly, and she's trying to like her face. It can't really decide on which expression it wants to make. She's trying to describe what she saw, but she's not really sure what she saw.
Orion, I want to get a little bit of what you are doing and thinking as all this is going on. What's in Orion's head?
Well, I want to say that he currently has like some secondary brand of energy drink in his hand that he was drinking while he was driving, cuz he's mentally worn out from his being stolen from, basically. And he's thoroughly examining the ingredients, thinking that he has ingested something crazy because he doesn't know what just happened. And then he looks up, almost kind of drops it, but it kind of like he drops it halfway and catches it right at the top. And he's like, "My car!" And he immediately starts running towards the door because he thinks the car is still rolling with him not in it, and he thinks it's going to hurt somebody. So he's running for the door.
Yeah, you swing open the door and immediately run chest first into Edward. I didn't describe him much before, but he's sort of a plain looking man, kind of, I hate to say it, but kind of boring. He's dressed in a formal but not too formal suit, like an accountant would wear, basically. And he looks kind of surprised as you run into him. He says, "Oh, pardon me. I need to Oh, can I just get past you there? Oh,
He's
okay.
going to grab him by the shoulders and push him like to the side and kind of behind him, like, yeah, sure, just get in there. And he
Oh,
continues
okay.
running.
Okay. Edward, we see the inside of the library as Orion starts just sprinting away, and Edward looks around the room and says, are you all okay? You seem kind of shell shocked. Is there? Oh no! Is there a ghost in here?"
No, Edward, there are no ghosts in the library. We've been over this many times. There are no hauntings in this library. We're not built over a burial ground. No one died here. There are no ghosts in the library.
Okay, you keep saying that, but then you look so I mean, you look great. You look great.
You know,
But
Edward, I'm going to stop you there, my friend. And we're actually in the middle of a meeting, and I forgot to flip the closed sign. So I'm going to have to ask you to please be on your way. We will be open again tomorrow, but the library is closed early tonight for this meeting. Uh, I'm so sorry
oh,
for the inconvenience.
okay. Um
And she'll sort of usher him towards the
uh,
door
uh,
and flip the sign.
okay, well, it was lovely seeing you, and the door closes. We will cut over to Orion. Orion, by some sort of lucky chance or fate, maybe, you're actually pretty close to the library when you were transported. Supernaturally, that is, not by your car. You find your car neatly parked at the side of the road.
Okay, something weird is definitely going on. I can't park this good.
Yeah, it's parallel parked.
He's audibly saying that he cannot parallel park to save his life. Anytime there's parallel parking, he will literally go 5 blocks just to find normal parking.
God, same.
But he's surprised to see his car still there. He looks around, just like walking around the outside. He doesn't see any part of it turned into a weird letter. He's so confused. And he finds the nearest garbage can and throws this energy drink into it with such, I don't know, like, rage that's been building up for years. Like, it literally bounces back out of the garbage can and he catches it and throws it back in again.
Sure, yeah. Gotta get that rebound. What does Orion do now that the car situation is calmed?
He actually doesn't know what to do. He doesn't immediately think of going back to the library because, like, who wants to go back to where they were magically transported to after hearing the voice of what he assumes might have been God? For an atheist, that's a lot.
Yeah, yeah, it is. All right. I will say while you are outside, you sort of look around, just kind of unsure of what to do now, and you see the forest, which is sort of a communal park. Includes a garden, an orchard, and in the shadows of the trees, you see something moving. A swift humanoid figure, about 6 foot tall, but it seems to be just standing there, and then whenever you look up, it disappears into the shadows.
Now, being raised as a farmhand, he ain't scared of the dark, and even though he's not going to go back to where he was magically transported, he figures this shady figure, literally shady figure, might know something since, I mean, who the heck is out in the woods at this time of night except for probably him? So he's going to, like, kind of jog up towards the edge of the forest, kind of concerned, kind of like cautious jog, just getting up there quick as possible, but not like sprinting into the situation.
As you run past, I think we will cut back into the library. As you all are sort of recovering you do see what is happening through the window with Orion, throwing the drink into the trash can and then seems to see something on the other side of the street and starts jogging that way. But what's going on inside the library?
Margie, I think she's shocked to actually see Edward have an interaction with Viola, and she's like, wait, that's what he said he was going to do, so I guess I'm not dreaming. And she kind of just goes, oh, I need to get back to the lazy dog. I'm the owner. And she kind of just rushes out the door, and she's like, I cannot give another second of thought to this weird situation. She's going back to what she knows, and is that it is Monday night and she has a shift at the lazy dog.
Sure, yeah. So we see Margie, similar to Orion, rushing out of the building. What about Tabitha and Viola? Back in the library. Who will be the last person standing?
Tabitha, was it? Tabs?
Yes. Either works, my dear.
I don't recall seeing you around town before. Are you new?
No, I'm afraid that I'm not.
Oh, I'm so sorry. You just don't come to the library often, I assume?
Well, that's a mighty great question, my love. New in the sense of this predicament that we've had. New in the sense that we both arrived here, I suppose. The four of us, I believe. But I do know this town, I believe.
Oh, all right.
Maybe.
Do you have a place to stay?
No.
Oh. Well, we should do that. I've already closed the library for the evening. Why don't you come with me, and we'll actually follow Margie, because she is the proprietor of the only place to really stay in town if you don't have a house. And we'll get you set up, if that's okay.
That would be lovely.
Okay, yeah. Let's do that. And yeah, I'll get a drink too. I feel like I need a drink. All right, yes, let's go. So, yeah, we'll lock up the library and head out.
Yeah. All right. So we see you two following a bit less swiftly after Margie. And meanwhile, Orion, you're at the edge of the forest, kind of staring into the shadows. Why don't you roll me a check? This is sort of a perception type move. It can be whatever impulse you think works here. I will say it's actually going to be a hard difficulty of 6. So you're going to have to hit a 6 with one or more of your dice.
Okay, let's do this. That is 2d6s for reason.
All right. Go ahead and roll that up. Uh-oh. That's a 2 and a 2. As you look into the shadowy forest, it's dark. There are streetlights behind you, but not much going on inside the forest. And then you hear a twang, and an arrow sticks into the tree next to you, just inches from your face.
He is going to immediately become hostile because, god dang, someone just shot an arrow at him. He's had a shovel thrown at him, and the arrow shot towards him because he grew up on a farm, but kind of makes him a little mad.
Oh, sure.
Because what the heck did I do to you? So he's going to yank the arrow out of the tree and immediately go running into the forest like, hey motherfucker, You think you can just do that and not, like, make me mad? I'm going to beat your fucking ass. Get over here.
That seems like a great idea to do to the shadows that shot an arrow at you. For sure.
Oh, definitely. No, he has no self-preservation.
He's
Uh,
been having a day.
Yeah, he's had a bit of, honestly, probably a week, maybe even a month.
His fuse is so short, it's unbelievable. I will be rolling daring. So what's my
I was actually going to ask. I don't want to push you in either direction, but it seems like if your goal is to run into the shadows to get back to the person who shot this at you, it seems like it might be a good idea to maybe unintentionally cast a spell.
does he have to say the word of the spell in order to activate it?
I think that is up to you, depending on sort of how he casts the spell. I know Tabitha has a unique method of casting. I don't know about Margie or Viola yet, but whatever you think fits his character best for how he casts the spell, using the universal language, but it doesn't have to necessarily be saying the word directly.
For him, I'm gonna say it varies because right now he doesn't know anything about it, so I think it's just gonna happen on accident. So I'm gonna say he starts going in and he's like, man, I can't see shit. And I'm going to use gain with let's see, with daring as an impulse to just randomly gain like some kind of low dark vision, just like able to see like if the moon was full and like that.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Sure, yeah.
So
That will
that
be.
is D6, 2d6.
You have how many points in daring? Oh no, right, you're right. This is a permanent spell. So yes, that'll be
Yes.
2d6, and I'll say it's an average difficulty of 4. All right, a 4 and a 5. So what does this spell look like as he sort of says that he can't see anything?
I feel like the only like flair to it, because right now it's very unknown what the heck he's doing. So I think it's only just like his eyes go the purple color. They just
Mm-hmm.
go the slight purple color from their normal blue color, and he's just suddenly able to see a lot better. But he doesn't think much about it because he's like, "Oh, my eyes must have adjusted. I just spoke too soon."
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. So your eyes adjust rather suddenly, which is a little bit weird, but you dash into the forest, and it's hard to keep up with whatever shot the arrow at you. It is something clad in Lincoln green, this very vibrant green color. But because you're in a forest, it's sort of dashing between trees and blending in with the foliage and whatnot. So I will have you roll one more time to see if you can actually catch up. I'll give you plus 1d6, considering that you have much better vision from your previous spell.
And I can pick the impulse for it.
Yes, yeah. Whatever you think works.
Okay. It's gonna be daring because I
That
mean
makes
he's
sense,
doing
yeah.
the stupidest thing. So that is 5d6 with your plus.
Oh boy. I will say, because similar to the first check to see if you could find the person in the first place, it will be hard because this entity is in their element.
Yeah.
So you need to roll with 5d6. You need to roll a single 6 or more.
Okay.
Should be pretty easy, hopefully. 2 6s.
18.
Yeah, so 4 1 1 6 6. Perfect. Yeah, you dash through the forest with surprising speed and are able to catch up as this, like I said, Lincoln green clad figure sort of comes to a stop in a clearing in the forest, which for a communal park is honestly a lot denser and darker and just more like an actual forest than you would expect. Like, it's called the forest, but that's more of just a friendly name for it. that people call it. So it's kind of strange just how thick this forest is at night. But you come upon this figure, and you see actually a group of people in these similar, very strange garb. Like, not only bright green, but it seems very old-fashioned, in a word. There's someone with a very pointy hat on. That seems to be sort of the leader, and they all turn and look at you as you burst into the scene. And tell me what you do as you come upon the scene of several men who appear to be rather merry.
Oh, fuck. He's gonna continue running while he's realizing this was a horrible idea, and he's going to attempt to catch the person who shot at him before he can reach the group and just like tackle him and like probably get on top of him and be like, good old takedown.
Sure, I think in that case you actually reach him right as he reaches the edge of the clearing. So I'll rewind a little bit, and you tackle him sort of into the clearing, and then all of the eyes turn on you as you have pinned down this Lincoln-clad figure. This is not the man with the pointy hat, but the man with the pointy hat says, "Now, Will, what are you doing? I told you not to attract any attention. This could be one of the sheriff's men."
Orion has his knee on this guy's chest and his right hand pushing down on this guy's chin, like forcing it to the ground. Like, I'm assuming this guy is like back on the ground. Orion's knee is in his chest, and he's just like using his hand to like hold the dude, like his dude's face sideways, and he has his free hand with the arrow in his hand, and he just breaks it in his hand, and he just gives the pointy-headed guy the coldest death stare he has ever like managed to do. Like, he's at the end of his rope already. He's had such a terrible week. He is done, and he thinks they're going to jump him now, so he's like full, I'm either going to jail or I'm dying.
Great outlook on the situation. I think we see the supposed leader, the person who seems to be the leader, the one who spoke before. He just kind of gives you an appraising look and says, we'll make a merry man out of you yet. And then we will cut over to the lazy dog, where Margie, you've actually had to walk, it's not that far across town because it's a fellow business. But you have gotten to the lazy dog, where Edward is back in there waiting for you. He didn't get there long before you, but he is looking very sad again. He says, "Oh, hey, I was hoping I could get another glass of that ale."
Yeah, of course. Do you like it?
I like it.
Well, I'm glad to hear that.
Mm-hmm.
And she rushes behind the bar to get him another refill. But then she pauses before she hands him the glass, and she asks, "Did you happen to see me earlier?"
When you gave me the ale? Yeah?
What about after that? Did you see me?
In the library. It is kind of weird that you got there so fast, but I wasn't driving, so I assume you just drove there.
Oh, so you did see me there?
Yes. I didn't
And
really,
it's
my eye was kind of, my eye was kind of taken by, someone else.
Oh, no, I'm not interested, honey, but thank you.
No, I didn't, I meant, oh.
I'm sorry if I'm being a little bit strange. I think I am having a strange day. I don't know.
Oh no. Was it... Is there a ghost? Is there a ghost in the lazy dog?
No! Edward. I didn't know that you were superstitious like that.
It's not superstition. It's actually just, the world around us contains many marvels. And one of those marvels is ghosts. And I'm so scared. I'm so scared every day about the ghosts.
Oh. I don't quite know what to say. I'm sorry. Are you...
Sorry, I need a drink.
Yes, of course. Not only do we have this mead, she hands him a menu and she's like, of course you're regular, but if you ever just want to try any other drink or spirits or whatever, I'll give you a big discount. It looks like you're not having a very good day.
Yeah, you and me both. And then the doorbell rings, and Viola and Tabitha walk in.
Margie, hey, we need a room. And a drink. A couple of drinks. Edward, hi.
Oh, you and that person are getting a room. That explains it.
Absolutely
Dang it.
not, my dear.
I could never compete.
Let's maybe not correct him right now. Just to make my life a little easier.
Margie has no idea what's going on, so she's looking between Tabs and Viola, and she's like, when did this development happen? I thought I knew everybody in town.
Yes, well, you don't know everything. Can we get a room arranged?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And she walks into her office to grab a room key. And she hands them it, and she says, I'll be up with your drinks. Did you want to be surprised, or do you have a specific drink in mind? I do have a new house drink. Edward's actually testing it out, and he seems to like it, but you don't have to drink what he is drinking. I just wanted to let you know.
Yeah, no, we'll try your experiment. And you know what? Tabs, let me show you to the room.
Edward kind of groans, but tries to hide it. Not very well.
Tabs is gonna nod in affirmation. Lead the way, my love.
Oh.
Right.
They already love each other, Margie.
I feel like Viola has spent a lot of time at the Lazy Dog. And
Sure, a lot of people around town do, yeah.
So she knows where the rooms are, and she'll lead Tabs up there. Hand off the key. All right. I appreciate you not correcting Edward. That is helpful. But I can leave you unless you want to hang out and have a drink. We can talk about what happened.
It feels like you're avoiding that man as well.
Oh, absolutely, yes.
Well, I do suppose that there's a lot to talk about regarding the current situation.
Yeah, we should when Margie brings the drinks up, we can ask her what I don't even know what to talk about. What and where's that other guy? He ran out of the library. I didn't see him on our way here.
No, I didn't either.
We probably should find him at some point, but I don't. Did he even say what his name was?
No, I'm afraid he did not.
Well, that makes it a little bit harder. Although, small towns and all, it really won't take a lot to recognize a face we don't recognize.
Of course. And you did mention that woman, Margie, knows everyone in this town, correct?
Yeah, she does. Hey, do you have stuff? Do we need to get your stuff?
No, I'm afraid I have nothing on me, my love.
Oh. Okay. Okay. Huh.
I think at this point, Margie meets them at the room with a tray of drinks. And she is so confused. She goes, "I'm so sorry. We're all awake right now, aren't we?"
Yes, I believe so. Why don't you come in and join us? We were just going to sit down and talk about whatever it was that happened. I'm still
That
so confused.
yes, please, oh, and she follows them into the room.
Right. So, Margie, do you know what happened?
That's a great question. I was about to ask you that, my dear. All I remember was, going, leaving the postal office because my shift was over, and it was time to, do the evening shift at the Lazy Dog. And Edward stopped by, and I gave him some drinks, and he says that he wanted to go to the library, so I told him, like, "Oh yeah, go to the library." And then I was also at the library, which that was not really my intention, as I do have a job. I work here.
Right.
As we all know, every Monday night, um,
Right. It's Monday. You're here.
yeah. So I'm sorry. I'm just struggling to put it into words. I don't know I don't know how to describe what I saw. Um, but there was a flash of light and a voice, but gosh, I'm not quite sure what happened.
Yes, I believe that I heard the same.
Yeah.
The same voice. So, oh my gosh, Viola, do you really think it's a shared a mass hysteria or something like that?
No, because there would have been more people to be like Edward was with you or near you and on his way here, so I don't know. So Viola's not aware of the fact that she can do any sort of magic. But she has her favorite pen in her pocket. It's a clicky pen. And she has pulled it out and is just clicking it. Sort of out of nervous habit. Can she accidentally cast magic?
Oh, absolutely she can.
I would like her to accidentally cast magic using the reason impulse.
Sure. Is this a new spell or your permanent spell? I mean, they're all
I
new,
want to
but-
try a new spell.
Oh, yeah. That's so
Yes,
exciting.
no.
All right. So, when you cast a new spell, what is your goal for the spell? It can be pretty broad, but should be related to the impulse you're using.
The goal, because I'm using reason, is to try and determine some sort of background for this. What could possibly have caused it?
Okay.
So sort of a researching, thinking, uncovery.
Sure, yeah. So how many points do you have in reason again?
I have 2.
You will roll 2d6, and then
Okay.
you'll draw that many letters.
And I do not have a modifier for this one, correct?
Correct.
So let's choose roll. So I didn't roll very well. I only got 6 letters. But I feel like I could use draws. As in draws a conclusion.
Oh, I like that. So is that what you're settling on then?
Yeah, that's what I'm going to go with, is draws. And this is as she's clicking her pen. That's going to be her casting focus unintentionally.
I like that, yeah. So you said she's casting with the pen, right? But sort of what does it look like as she draws this conclusion? Does she see a vision? Does it like actually draw out in front of her what the answer is, or what do you think that looks like?
I think because the pen is her focus, she sees it not physically in front of her, but in her mind's eye, she sees herself writing out the answer. So in her nice librarian handwriting with her fancy pen, it's like it just writes itself in front of her face.
Ooh.
I love that.
Contrary to Doctor's handwriting.
Yes.
I think as you are clicking your pen back and forth, and you see in your mind's eye yourself writing this thing, maybe you don't even immediately realize that it's some sort of magic, because maybe it could just be how you're contextualizing this. But you see yourself writing that the speakers are the protagonists, and there will be many antagonists, many supporting characters, but the heroes must go on their journey, and the journey shall be a wonderful tale. And then there's sort of the footnotes at the bottom that sort of clarify that this is a story written in the universal language, that it's not necessarily a story with a single author, but that remains to be seen. But that there is magic in a story, and that magic should not be feared.
She sits down very heavily on the floor.
Tabs is going to step closer to you and offer a hand. Are you alright? You look mighty faint.
I this is weird. I just saw myself writing in front of me, and then I read it.
You made no gesture.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. Oh, I'm going to sound absolutely crazy if I tell you what I just saw, but given the day so far, perhaps maybe not. I think we're in a story, and we're the main characters.
In a story?
Yeah, that sounds weird.
Yes, but it's far from the strangest thing that has occurred today.
And magic might be a thing that is real.
Is that what you performed just now?
I don't know. It didn't feel normal. It felt a little weird. But I don't do magic. I'm a librarian. I mean, I do the magic of opening your mind to different worlds by giving you a book. Yeah, that's it.
Do you know anything about what she speaks? Tabs is going to say to Margie, like turn to face her and gesture to Viola, like, are you getting this?
And Margie kind of looks at Viola and she's like, honey, out of the three of us here, you might be the magical person I think there is. I'm just an innkeeper, and I sometimes I man a food truck, and sometimes I deliver the mail, but I did see that too. So if you're going crazy, then well, we're going crazy together.
Oh, okay. As long as I've got someone along for the ride.
I believe we're all along for that ride.
So I don't know exactly what it meant that we're speakers, we're the protagonists, and there will be several antagonists. Are we gonna have to go fight bad guys? Again, librarian here, not like a fighter.
No, I can't say that I'm much of a fighter either.
Yeah. You know what I think we need?
What is that?
I think we need to finish these drinks and maybe have another one, and then maybe sleep.
Oh, I'm all down for that idea.
Yeah, and then we'll wake up in the morning and everything will be normal and yeah, totally fine, right?
Perhaps.
Uh,
As you all sort of agree on this, there is the faint ringing of the bell on the door downstairs, the sort of barely audible growling from the lazy dog, which is probably quite odd. I assume Margie doesn't hear a lot of that, considering how lazy the dog indeed is.
Mm-hmm.
But then you hear an unfortunately familiar voice say, "Ugh, damn dog. Well, is anyone going to come down and greet me? What kind of establishment is this?"
Oh, that son of a bitch, Noble.
Glad it was clear.
Wait, can I revise that? Addie said son of a bitch. Margie says, oh, that son of a B word. That Noble. I swear, that's like the only man who doesn't deserve that name. And she kind of like puts her hands on her hips, like very Wonder Woman-y, and kind of like marches down the stairs to greet him, even though she doesn't want to.
Yeah, you do indeed see John Noble in his finest suit. It seems he never really changes out of that. And he's standing impatiently near the greeter's podium. But as you walk down and see his scowl, I think we will switch over to Orion, who similarly seems to have a unfriendly expression on his face. Orion, the leader of this green-clad group, just said he was going to make a merry man of you yet. And behind him, you can't help but notice that there are a few people with weapons drawn on you as you are holding down, presumably their friend and ally, who is named Will, according to the leader. What do you do? Do you continue holding this man down?
He's going to continue holding this man, but he's going to take the piece of the arrow that has the point on it and just put it to the side of the man, just like right above the forehead. Not like I'm going to stab this guy, but just like, hey, be a shame if I drop it in this guy's eye. So don't shoot me, bro.
Okay.
But he's just gonna be like, hey, so you mind telling me why your merry man shot at me? Like, I was just trying to figure out what the hell was going on, and like, ain't very nice to shoot. I think that I deserve an explanation, and if I don't get one, someone's gonna have at least a black eye. Start talking. I'm fed up with this shit already.
Yeah, the men behind the leader. One of them has a bow drawn. One of them is wielding a quarterstaff. One has a rapier. They all sort of narrow their eyes at you and keep their weapons held fast. But Robin, sorry, I was coughing. The leader waves a hand to them, and they all warily lower their weapons. And he says, "Well, Will, care to explain why you were shooting at random civilians? This could be a fellow yeoman for all we know." And Will, the man you are pinning down, just sort of coughs a little and says, "Well, I wasn't firing at him. You know my aim is better than that. It was a warning shot. I intended to hit the tree exactly 3.5 inches from his head. I would never harm an innocent like this."
The fuck up. That's what my brothers said when they shot me through the hand. They said that it was just some stray shot from next door.
Well, I'm not your brother, young man. I can't speak for them.
Call me young man again, I swear to God.
I want you to roll something. I'm not sure what it is. It's some sort of intimidation, or I would say it's probably not calm. You're probably not driven to create or promote calmness or order.
It's probably still daring. I mean, obviously these guys have weapons, and he's
Yeah.
just basically provoking them. So
I could see daring, force, grit, any of those working.
can do reason if that makes sense.
Oh yeah, I like that. I think that makes sense.
Without meaning to, he's trying to appeal to the leader's reason, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, for sure. So go ahead and roll that. I think it'll be an average check of 4. Uh-oh.
Oh, yeah. No, that doesn't work.
Nope, that's a 1 and a 2.
Time to get stabbed.
Yeah, I think you glance back up at the leader, hoping that he will sort of get his men to stand down. And as you're doing that, Will, the man you're holding underneath you, takes the advantage, and he's had his hands to his side, but he suddenly flings some dirt up in your eyes. And, naturally you can't help but sort of claw at them a little bit. And he takes the advantage of the moment and manages to push you off, and is suddenly scrambling away towards the other men. And you're still holding this. Maybe you dropped it. Maybe you're holding the broken arrow.
I want to say he drops it, and I think when he gets pushed off, he's going to try and just like send a kick in the direction he knows the guy is. Because, like, he threw dirt in his eyes. He's going to retaliate.
Oh, for sure.
So he's going to try to, like, kick, probably not really aiming. So it's probably going towards, like, the legs, probably just to sweep the legs one more time. I'm going to say grit.
Well, first, the defender uses an impulse or permanent spell of choice to resist.
Oh, okay.
So I think they're also going to use grit, actually. That's the one I was going for. So this will set the difficulty for yours. They rolled, their highest was a 5, so you need to roll a 5 or above to do any sort of spirit damage to them. Oh.
No. Crit fail. No, he just swings wide.
Natural 1. Yeah, I think you not only miss this kick, but at this further aggression, another arrow twangs into the dirt beside your head, and then you feel the tip of the quarterstaff that was wielded kind of not hit you by any means, but sort of stamp into the ground next to you. And the speaker before, the leader of sorts, says, "I suggest you stand down. We don't mean you any harm. I'm sorry that my sometimes foolish men here were so easily provoked to action by your mere presence. But I do believe we can sort something out. At any case, your quarrel is with me as their leader. Perhaps we can duel to see who's really the mightier of men."
He's wiping away the dirt with one hand, and as he finally gets like the dirt out of his eyes, he punches the ground, and he uses the punch to like turn into like a one-handed like just push upwards so he can get back to his feet. Like he's trying to get back to his feet while still letting out a little bit of aggression.
Sure, I think yeah, the person with the quarterstaff is still sort of holding it near you, but allows you to get up. They don't stop you or anything.
A duel? What the? Are you from the fucking 1800s? Who the fuck duels? Like, what the fuck is this? Some sort of LARP session I've stumbled onto with actual weapons? Like, Jesus Christ, I thought this town wouldn't be so weird.
1800s. Why, no, I'm not some sort of future man. What do you mean?
The fuck you mean, future man?
Why, I live in our good King Lionheart's reign. Not the long-distant 1800s. You know, King Richard.
He's gonna look at this man, like, with dirt still around his eyes, And I must say I want to say that his dark vision spell has worn off because it's like his eyes he had to I want to say it's gone now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so his eyes are just normal blue again, but he's he looks at this guy in now far darker shadow because you know he's got dirt in his eyes. Of course, everything's going to be a little bit blurry.
Yeah, I will say there is a bit of torchlight, which is maybe odd in itself, like a actual flaming torch, but yet it's still pretty dark and shadowy overall.
And he looks at this guy with the most dumbfounded expression, and he's like, "You're really into character, ain't you?"
The guy just seems kind of confused himself, like, character? Are you questioning the contents of my character?
Drop the act. Talk like a normal human being. It's just pissing me off more.
Why, I never. Young man, and he kind of catches himself and kind of half apologizes, like he knows you don't like to be called young man, and he's trying to be respectful here. And he says, "Fellow yeoman, there is no need to be so upset. I know my men provoked you, and I do apologize for that, but we're all good steeds of our lord's land, under the King Richard Lionheart. There are quite a few dishonorable people, that sheriff for one, and Prince John," and he spits on the ground.
I want to say that after this, he immediately thinks in his head where have I heard that stuff before? Because he reads books. He likes reading books, but it's been a long time since he's read anything because, it's just been a lot. So he's just thinking, why does this seem so oddly familiar?
For sure, yeah.
Do I have to roll to figure anything out?
I think if you wanted to roll reason, you could do that. If you ever want to realize something that, or have your character realize something that you've realized, I'm not going to make you roll for that, but if you want to see, then that is totally fair.
Okay, I will.
That'll be an average difficulty of 4. Then. All right, a 3 and a 4.
And now you got a 4.
Yep, that is a success. So I think the gears are kind of turning in your head, and the man sees that, and you realize just a few seconds before he says, "Perhaps you somehow don't know me by reputation." And he holds out a hand to you to sort of shake, and he says, "I am Robin Hood." And with that, we will cut back over to the Lazy Dog, where John Noble is just sort of frowning at you, Margie, and he says, my stewardship of this place would certainly do it wonders if you ever decide you do want to sell it to me."
Never considered that for a second. Don't make me laugh until I vomit, John Noble. It's unkind.
Unkind indeed. Well, what does a man have to do to get a drink around here?
Order it and then pay. And she goes, just wraps around behind the bar and sets out a glass and a menu. She's like, "Now I'm sure you know how this works, John Noble. Don't you also manage some taverns or bars?"
You and I both know this is the only successful bar in this town, though not for lack of trying.
Oh, so you do know that it's successful. Why do you think changing it by selling it to you would do anything?
Well, it would certainly thrive under some polite leadership.
Oh, Johnny, I really hope you're not including yourself in that. You've never been polite to me.
Well, it takes one to know one. And rather than verbally order anything, he just huffs and points at a bottle on the shelf for what he wants. Like you said, he's not the most polite, even though he seems to think he is.
Johnny, use your big boy words.
He just kind of, sort of half growls to himself and says, "The scotch. I would like the scotch."
On it. She turns around and grabs the bottle of scotch and pours him a little shot glass of scotch and slides it over.
He quickly downs it, kind of grimacing at the bitter taste. He puts some money on the counter, almost exactly as much as its cost. He doesn't exactly tip a whole lot, but he stands up and says, "Very well, a pleasure as always, Margaret."
And she kind of nods, like, yes, I'm acknowledging you said that, but there really isn't anything else to say.
Yeah. He starts to walk out, and outside we hear him. The door closes, and then muffled he says, "What the hell?"